who gives birth to Satan and gives birth to the demons and demonesses of the pit. Why do we have Lilith in the western principality, everybody? Because her water's broken, the demons were born. That's how she's associated with water. The very water of our birth and life. Well, many Wiccans are constantly concerned about the threefold karmic law, also called the Wiccan Reed, bouncing anything you send out back 3 times. Satanic witches do not concern ourselves with this because we follow what true natural law dictates, which includes cause and effect. While countless people throughout the world are praying for forgiveness and going to confession, Satanic witches simply enjoy the personal freedom that so many lack. Satanic witches are free to work with other dark pagan gods and demons besides Satan and Lilith. Imposing social order and justice is not the goal of satanic witchcraft, though it may be desirable if working in some satanic groups that are dedicated to social reform. But we are not in that way. Our social reform is teaching real knowledge. Like many Wiccans and other kinds of pagans, satanic witches hold rituals at different times of the year, depending on the natural cycles of the earth and the moon. While rituals can be performed without any tools, ideally an altar is placed in a circle facing south, the direction of Satan and Satan's element of fire. The satanic witchcraft tools on the altar are an athame or knife, which to symbolize fire, wand for air, a cup for water, a pentacle for earth. Other tools also include a cauldron and censer with incense, oils, crystals, herbs, talismans, a bell, and decorations such as a pair of candles or statues of Satan and Lilith are placed next to each other at the center or on either side of an altar. It's our way of welcoming deity and deities into the satanic witchcraft dark circle. Satanic witchcraft celebrates 12 to 13 Esbats on the night of the full moons and 8 Sabbats on the equinoxes, solstices, and cross-colored days in between them, known as our Grand Sabbats. This weekend's one of them. Because satanic witchcraft and our dark magic is influenced by the cycles of nature, the main purpose of Esbat rituals is sometimes also determined by the zodiac sign under which the moon may fall under that month. For example, during a full moon with the Brotherhood Covenant, it would make sense to perform magic to promote prosperity and creativity for all the members of that covenant. These rites draw from the dark feminine and lunar energy of the universe, so Lilith tends to play a central role as our mother and as the infernal mother of the Brotherhood. The wheel of the year consists of 8 festivals at the start of each season and in the middle of each season. These days are to celebrate the cycles of earth and sun with a focus on masculine energy and the horror god Satan. Depending on the rite, different candles, incenses, and decorations are used. Celebrants may start with a small meal to help ground or reflect on the purpose of the ritual, and may also include a ritual bath before the performance of the rites of satanic witchcraft. The high priestess and high priest then summon Satan, Samael, or Lilith, offering words of honor, praise, and adoration. Brotherhood Covenanters raise energy in our satanic witchcraft rituals in a number of ways, including dancing, chanting, or a Brotherhood Covenant mantra may be used as in proper measure as used by the Covenant of the Dark Arts. This energy is visualized as a satanic cone of power covering the circle. The demons, Brotherhood ancestors, and then the principalities and elemental powers are respectfully dismissed and the circle is uncast by walking in counterclockwise, releasing the satanic and demonic cone of energy. In the next part, I'm going to cover the actual how-to usage of satanic spellcrafting in relation to individual brotherhood witches. Satanic spellcrafting how-to. As was discussed earlier, there are really not many differences in the actual practice of spellcasting between satanic witchcraft and the spellcrafting methods used later by witchcraft and Wiccan traditions. Some of the main differences, however, are the fact that satanic spellcrafting entails the usage of an attendant demon or dark gods and goddesses, but certainly not the tamer of the gods and goddesses of the pagan cultures. Satanic spellcrafting, when done properly, follows the lunar as well as solar influences to aid in the spell working we may be using depending upon the actual reason or intention for casting our spells. All spells starts with one thing, your intention. We've already covered the visual effect of using various colors of candles for specific spells. Back when spellcrafting was used by the common or pagan people in medieval Europe, many of those people could not afford the various dyes made from berries and flowers to actually color a candle. All the candles then were made of beeswax, which was a yellowish-white color. The usage the nobility that used spellcrafting, however, could afford to add some color to their beeswax to create a candle colored differently than the usual and basic beeswax candles. They were the nobility, they actually had more, made the money to do so. Where the common folk didn't really have those extra, things that they could utilize. The various usage of colors was used to enhance one's spell working by creating a visual connection to a specific spell intention. Many hereditary witches could use a regular beeswax candle and still could have the desired result they sought from their spell. This is because they had a strong enough will, first and foremost, to still get their visualization thought form pattern created with their mind's eye and could still manifest a positive result for their desire. We can still do that today. We don't have to use colors. We use them, however, to stimulate what? Our sense of sight. It's associated with the particular spell we may be working. The way I was taught to use spellcraft, as I said earlier, was to be able to spellcraft using both the lunar and solar powers to enhance the spell's thought form pattern. For instance, one may use an attendant spirit or a spiritual entity that is associated with the sun, which holds a more solar power, during the daylight hours, such as Lucifer, Apollo, and even Ra. This would be for a daytime spell you might be performing. If you were performing your spellcrafting during the nighttime or dark time hours, you could use an attendant spirit or spiritual entity that's associated with lunar power, such as Diana if the moon was full, or Luna could be used at any time. For your darker spells, you may select to use Hecate, Sekhmet, Lilith, Nehemoth, and other goddesses or demons you know to be more associated with darker aspects. In using the lunar influences in your spellcrafting, it will, just like other usages concerning satanic ritual practice, use the theory of the two types of magic used with lunar magic. Those are, of course, related to the two aspects of increase and decrease, also known as creation and destruction, or building and diminishing. Lunar spellcrafting follows that if you are doing a spell working for love, compassion, prosperity, setting up protective barriers, and healing, as well as adding power to your magic or rebuilding a positive needed influence, you want to use the increased time of the lunar phases. If you want to rid yourself of a bad habit, a partner that does not work for you, a curse blockage, an annoying influence, a removal or destruction spell, or even a health issue to remove certain ailments and sickness, such as back pain or heart issues, to even mental blockages, you would want to use the lunar phase of decrease. This is for breaking down an unwanted influence of any kind. I was also taught to dress candles that you use in your spell work with the proper anointing oil. I'm going to do this before you light. Do research for a listing of oils, along with their spiritual properties in this regard. Very important. Also, I was taught to use specific gemstones to add to the spiritual power of the spell. Again, do the research for the proper listing of gemstones and their specific magical properties. Using all these together will greatly add to the actual power of your personal spell work. Same with the right incenses for that spell. When learning about Satanic spellcrafting, it is again a must that you research the old ones, which includes the gods and goddesses of dark paganism that were later identified by us as demonic assistants, and to learn their actual attributes, and then it will be much easier to select an attendant to help you in the manifestation of your desire when casting a spell. Another reason Brother places an importance on knowing the demons and all their attributes. Then you know who to call for help. It enhances your personal power to have that attendant that you petition work with you. They want to. Bear in mind that exactly like performing ritual magic, spellcrafting depends upon your own personal knowledge and the usage of natural law. Work your spellcrafting to protect yourself against a spiritual attack or retaliating after being spiritually attacked. There is absolutely no karmic reprisal whatsoever. None. Why? While there is karma, karma is negated. When? When it becomes natural law and is cause and effect. You're harmed. What's the effect? Natural reaction is to defend yourself and your family and either place a curse on them or block their magic. There is no karmic law then. Once you're attacked, there's no karmic law. No karmic debt because it comes to be natural law. Don't worry about doing magic to protect yourselves. There is no karma. Other examples of things I was taught about spellcrafting related to the actual grounding of a spell. There are two main examples. In a love spell, you would want to place the wax from your spell candle in a spring garden at the time of planting, or in a garden when things are already growing. You want your love to grow. Flowers and young trees included. This was Druid. In a purification or consecration spell working, place the wax from your spell candle in a river or lake for the cleansing effect found in the water elemental. You already used fire in the lighting and burning of your spell candle. so that the element of fire has already been used. When you bury spell candles wax, you are bringing the spell into manifestation on the earth plane. When you use a specific incense in your spell crafting, you are already sending out to the air element your spell thought form pattern. That's why we say know all of it. Use it all. That makes you a master spellcrafter. Like your choice of the color of your spell candle, the choice of your oil, the use of gemstones, the kind of incense you burn for spellcrafting is just as important as other spell ingredients you are using for your working. Research a listing for the magical properties of the various scents you may select for your personal spellcrafting. That's why those things are really important to know. When you can put all of these ingredients together, along with the knowledge of the proper timing of your spell working and your own personal strong will and power, your spells will work. Spellcrafting is like other areas of magical usage. The more you know about the proper how-to in spellcrafting, the greater the chances of success in your spells manifesting as you desire. Some of the things that I was taught as a child I know about doing satanic spellcraft. Thank you very much.
That was informative, thank you. How do you stop us?